Hello Year 6, and we're starting a brand new unit of work all about communication, codes and messages today. And we're going to start off with a little starter, which I want you to have a think about for me, which is before telephones, how could people send a message over a long distance? So I'm going to disappear for a second and let you have a think, and then we'll come back and move on. Okay, pause the video if you need a bit more time to think. Okay, maybe you thought about things like sending messages on horseback, or perhaps you thought of smoke signals, or sending a message via a bird, a carrier pigeon perhaps. But there are some other ways as well that we'll look at that perhaps you thought of. So let's go headfirst into our first one, which is Semaphore. Now, Semaphore is a system that was developed in the Navy for communicating from one ship to the next. What would happen is a person would stand on the deck of the ship and they'd hold out two brightly coloured flags at certain positions. Each combination of positions would stand for a different letter or number. And this way they could communicate with other ships a long way away, because the sea, obviously, is quite flat. If it's not very wavy, it's very flat. And you can see a long way away, and you can see somebody holding out their flags, and they'd have people trained to send these signals, but also to be able to read them very quickly from other ships. Now, don't mistake it with the people that are at airports that direct the planes. That's different. They're just directing the planes. Semaphore is a way of communicating using flags into English. So each position has got a letter or number associated with it. So if we have a look at the alphabet that we've got on the screen here, so if the person on the ship's deck held the flags here, so they held one flag down at like 6 o'clock, if you imagine it's a clock face, and then the next flag is diagonal down to their right hand side. So we see on the left, their right hand side. That means A. Okay. Now B, there's a bit of a pattern to these first ones. B is straight down with this arm again, so our left arm is straight down, but our right arm, instead of being diagonal down, is out to our right. So on the left as we see it. So it's moved around the circle. C, this flag has stayed down, and this flag is now diagonal up and to the left as we see it. D, straight up. So you can see this arm has moved from here to here to here to here in sequence for the first four letters, and that continues with the fifth letter and the sixth letter and the seventh letter. It's just like a clock for the first 7 letters. Then it does change a little bit, but you can see how each one of these letters is corresponding to a flag position or a pair of flag positions. Okay, should we have a go at using it? So here we've got a word that we are going to decode. So let's look at this first person here. This is our first letter. Okay, so where on our alphabet is that first person? Can you see them? Can you spot them? Can't see them yet. I'm looking for them. Do we think it is W, perhaps? We've got one arm going out that way and another arm going up that way. It looks like W to me. Okay, and then let's look for this one. So this one looks a lot like A to me. get a better. We've got W, A, and we've got up, down to the right. That looks like a V. And our last one, we've got down and up to the right. E. So we have got W, A, V, and E, and that spells wave. Okay, brilliant. So that's how Semaphore would work. They'd show this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, and that spells our word. Now, here's an interesting one for you. This is the cover from the record Help by the Beatles. And you can see at the bottom here the Beatles are holding out their arms in a semaphore style. So they're spelling out a word. What do you think that word might be? What do you think that word might be? That they're spelling out. There's 4 of the Beatles and they're on the record Help. What do you think it might be? Let's find out. So, you might think that this first one was H, but if we go along to H, we'll find that it's not. So actually, they're holding both their arms out. It is R. This person is doing R. It's labelling. Okay, what's our next person going to be doing? So we've got diagonal up and diagonal up, which is U. Then we've got up and to the right. That looks like an early one to me, and it's not actually, it's J. So that one's J. And then we've got up and then diagonal down. Can we spot up and diagonal down, everybody? V. So, on the front cover of V, on the front cover of Help, the Beatles are in fact signalling RUJV. Now, do you know why? Because I didn't, and I found out it's because the photographer who took the photo thought that looked better than Help. So they spelled out Help, and they didn't think it looked very good in the photograph, so they did positions that they fancied rather than the actual words. Everyone just assumes that it says Help because you would. There you go, there's a little bit of trivia for you. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. You are going to identify that messages can be sent over large distances. So clearly, Semaphore is one of the ways that we could do that. We can use our flags from a very long way away to send a message without the use of technology. You are going to decode some messages. You might have already done some of that with me. You're going to do some more in a minute. Goal is to create your own coded messages. So once you've had a go at the examples in a minute, I want you to find somebody to do some Semaphore with. So get yourself a little Semaphore alphabet, or use the one I've got on screen, and try doing some positions and see if you can send a message to the other person. And the challenge is to research how data packages are sent between computers, because they don't use Semaphore. Okay, so on the next screen is 4 words. They're not connected. 4 words that I would like you to decode. I'll just go over here for a second. 4 words I'd like you to decode. And an alphabet here for you to use as reference. Okay, guys. There will be more challenges available as well on the VLE. But for now, I'm going to disappear and leave you so you can pause your video and have a go at these challenges. Best of luck, everybody. I'll see you again soon.